Hey guys, Trevor Crane here, and on this short video I want to talk to you about how you can write a book really, really fast. Now, for years I struggled with this. I knew that I had not just one book inside of me, but many. And I knew that I needed to get that content out. I had clients and I had friends and family saying, hey, you should write a book. But I didn't know how. And today I'm coming at you in Toronto, and I'm here right in front of a labyrinth. And I think this is the way I was looking at it at the time. I was lost. I didn't know where to start. I knew that it wasn't going to be that complex, but there were all these things I had to learn to do. I didn't consider myself a writer. I didn't know exactly what my content should be. I wasn't sure who should read the book. I wasn't sure what I'd do with the book after it was done, and these things were holding me back from getting it done. Now, once I figured that, once I was so frustrated and upset. I don't know if this has happened to you, but I knew I wanted to write this book. I'd set the goal to do it, and then I wouldn't get it done. So on this video, I'm going to show you how you can strategize about writing the right book and making sure you can write it really, really fast. Because you can write a great book, and you can do it faster than you would ever believe if you could just go ahead and know the difference. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift this to something much easier. Instead of a glimpse at a complicated matrix or maze where someone's lost, I want you to look at these few steps right here. What I'm going to share with you are the simple steps to make sure you write the right book and you can write it really, really fast, okay? Step number one is not to start with your story of how all this stuff happened to you and look at all your successes and look at all your failures. That's where you're going to get lost and waste a lot of time. Instead, what you want to do is work on the strategy first. Think about this book already being done. Imagine your phenomenal book being done in 90 days or less, because that's my promise in my bestseller big business program, that you can go from blank page to bestseller in 90 days or less. So imagine it's done. Imagine it's got the perfect cover. Imagine that you know who it's for. Who's going to read your book? That's a really good question. You need to write this down. This is the strategy first. What are you going to do with this book? You can imagine a weapon. Imagine if you were making a weapon. Like, there's a lot of weapons. You could have a knife, you could have a spear, you could have a bow and arrow, a gun, you could have a nuclear bomb. You don't want to build that, I don't think. But the reason I'm bringing it up is you want to know, what book are you going to write? How is it going to be used? Because the wrong tool, the wrong book, the wrong weapon, I don't know why I use that example, is not going to help you if it's not used in the right situation. So I wanted you to think about strategically, who's this book for? Who do you want to read it? What do you want them to learn is the next thing. What do you want to give them? What are the things that you want to go ahead and unleash on them so they go, oh my gosh, that's amazing, thank you so much, I love it. And then, what do you want them to do next? See, because most people don't think about this. They're all caught up on, I don't know, what book should I write? If you do the strategy first and you think, what are they going to buy? Where is this leading them? I remember, well, if you do that, you're going to help your clients. You're going to help the people that you want to help and make a difference. See, the biggest thing that was frustrating me about not getting my book done was that there were so many people I knew I could help, but I wasn't getting their information to them. And a book, by the way, I'm going to give you a little insight into what's the right book to write. You write put your best stuff. The things that you do better than anybody else, what your magic mojo is, put that into your book. And then think about, what do you want? Who do you want to read it? Who wants that information? Who needs it? Don't hold anything back. You're going to put all your best stuff in here. Don't start writing it yet. Just think about who's going to read it. What do you want them to think? What do you want them to feel? How do you want them to transform? And then what do you want them to do next? It's that next part that's key. Strategically, where are you leading them? And on one of the other videos I have here, I'm going to share with you how do you market your book so you can get your book in front of the right people, and then also how do you monetize it? And that's what I'm talking about. Your book needs to make a profit. I don't care even if you have just purely a legacy book that you want to get out, which I have 2 that I've written that are just something I truly believe in, and I wanted to get those out. But you need to have, where are they going to go next? I remember years ago I watched Al Gore give this great speech about how the world was melting in global warming. And the challenge was, after watching this video, this presentation, I was so moved. I was like, oh my gosh, the world is melting. I want on the path. Help me. Like, Al Gore, what can I do? Now, he didn't talk back to me. He just did the video, and then that was it. I had nothing else. And there was no call to action at the end. There was nothing for me to go do. And I was confused. I'm like, well, okay, you sold me. The world is melting. I think I should make a difference. What can I do to make it better? And I couldn't find anything. The end of this presentation gave me nothing. I looked online to try to find, I'm like, search Al Gore's presentation. What does he recommend? And it was like I found replace my lights with fluorescent light bulbs or go buy a Prius. And I was like, screw you, this sucks. I didn't know what to do. I was helpless. Now, I want you to think of this in the context before you write your book strategically. Who's it for? What do you want them to do or think or transform, like my belief? And then, what do you want them to do next? Give them a path. Because your book is only going to sell for $1 or $20 or whatever it's going to sell for. It's going to be very difficult for you to actually make a profit only selling your book. It can be done, and I know you can do it. But you want to make sure that you write the right book for the right person so that you get to attract the amazing people into your life that you want to help and transform and change your lives. And that's one of the reasons why you need a book right now. There is no better business building, branding building tool on the planet than a book. When my wife and I figured this out, and I built around me a team of people to help me write books and my family write books and my clients write books, and now you get your book done and market it and become a #1 bestseller, my wife and I tripled our income last year with books. We wrote 7 #1 best-selling books, 2 of which were done by my daughter. My daughter was 7 when she wrote her first book, 8 when she wrote her second. Now, you can do this too. It starts with, what's the right book? Who do you want to read it? Answer those questions. Let's move on. Strategy, structure. The next thing you want to work on is, what's the outline? Like, now that you know where they're going and you know what you want this book to be used for, now you think of, okay, what's the skeleton or table of contents that needs to go inside this book? Now, I told you that this video was about how to write a great book fast. And you're like, dude, we haven't even gotten to the writing part. We're now there. We're at the part of you outlining the path you want them to go. What do you want them to learn during this process? Don't get caught up on all the stories. Don't go do that. That'll waste your time. That'll waste a lot of time. I want you to first do the table of contents and make sure that that makes sense to you and that it's going to communicate to people where you want them to go. Now, the third step. So remember, we're just doing one step at a time. Step number 1 is strategy, right? Once you understand who this book is for and where you want them to go next, you've got that done. Step number 2 is structure. What's the table of contents and what do you want that outline to be? And number 3 is, now you get to insert the stories. See, because it gets so confusing about what stories are you going to tell, because you've got a big life. You've got a lot of things that have happened. I don't know what you want to put in your book. My daughter's book was about 3 ninja kitties, okay? But you've got to think about strategy, structure, story, and then if you put your best stuff into this book, I'm going to share with you next the next few steps of how you actually write it quickly, all right? Strategy, structure, now you can pick the stories. And again, you outline it. Now, how do you write this sucker? 3 words: speak, scribe, source. Okay? Speak, scribe, source. Now, you know what? There's one more thing. Before you get to the writing of it, I say you need to go ahead and set a date that this book is going to be done. In fact, that is the best way to get your book done fast. Set a date. Once you understand the strategy, structure, story, like what's the outline of your book, and you're ready to put the stories in there, and you're not ready to do it, tell the world, hey baby, my book is available for sale, or I'm writing a book. You want to set the date of when it's coming out. Nothing motivates you like having a deadline and a date. So set that on your calendar. Now, let's get to the writing part. Speak it, scribe it, source it. Now, what does speaking it mean? Well, it's obviously I'm here on video, I'm talking to you. You can do it on a teleclass. You can be interviewed by a friend of yours. My daughter told her story into my iPhone, and then we had that transcribed. Now, you can choose any one of these. You could just be like, I'm a great speaker, an orator, and I want to teach a webinar, which is one of the things I did. I taught a webinar to get all of my best content out of me. And once I had an outline of what information people needed to know so they could go to the next step, it made organizing my content and the stories super, super simple. I took that spoken word, I had it transcribed, you get me? Where somebody's writing it for you, they turn all that into words, and then I use the source, speak, scribe, source. I like to use all 3 of them. Now you can use any one. Imagine what sourcing this means. Sourcing means that you find somebody else to help you write this. Did you get that? See, most people think that you need to write a book by yourself. I'm a self-published author. I'm going to write my book. I'm the only one that can look at it. I need to go into the dark and write my book. No. You want to go ahead and write your book right out loud. You want to do it right now in the middle of your busy life. Because let me ask you a question. If you had that perfect book for your right client, do you think that you're able to give that to a potential prospect and they found you online? Do you think you could get one more client with that book? Maybe that book might help you get 2 more clients. Do you think you might be able to get maybe some speaking engagements, or people would want to interview on podcasts, TV, blog, radio, traditional media and online media? Of course, that's one of the first things people need is it establishes your credibility and authority. And of course, it's going to make it easier for you to get clients. So here's my question for you. How much is the average client worth to you? Lifetime. Is it $100? I hope it's more than that. I hope it's at least $1,000. Is it $50,000? What is one client worth to you? And if you could get one client with your book, or made it easier or faster to make the sale, see, it's costing you right now every single day that you don't have a book out there that's marketing for you. So you need to get it done now. And then I'm going to show you on the next couple of videos, how do you market it? How do you monetize it and make money with your book? Because most people won't make money with their book per se, not a lot. They make a little bit of money, but I'm talking about the big money, the money that's going to help you spend more money on marketing so that you can make a difference and help more people. Okay, so let's go back real quick. Strategy, structure, story. Those are the first things on writing a book fast. Then you want to set a date. You want to like, hey baby, this book is going to come out, and I like to go from blank page to bestseller in 90 days or less. So I'm giving you an insight in how do you actually get this done and get it done quickly. That's how do you get it done, right? That's setting a date. Then you speak it, scribe it, source it. My father-in-law doesn't want to speak out his story. He's writing his memoirs. He's in his 70s, and he's just writing it out. He likes to scribe it out. But if you want to do it fast, trust me, speak it, scribe it, source it, and don't do this alone. See, I thought I had to do all of it alone, and it's so wrong. It's not the way people do, not the way intelligent people do it. Imagine, if you were to build a house, would you go build it by yourself, or would you maybe get some help? Would you get an architect? Would you find an electrician? Would you have somebody do your faux painting? Would you have a different person do your roofing or your plumbing? Of course you would. Now your book is a legacy. It's something that you get to give back and leave forever on this world. It's part of what will establish who you are and what's not who you are, but it'll establish that legacy. It's about you living a legacy, not just leaving one. Okay? So I want to go ahead and invite you to, I hope you like this video. Make sure you download the PDF, and if you're not signed up for the webinar yet, sign up for my webinar, because I'm going to talk to you about more of the details to help you go from blank page to bestseller in 90 days or less. Now the next couple of videos you're going to love, because one real short one is on marketing your book. I'm going to talk to you about how you use that as a really good marketing tool for 12 months at minimum. How you use that, I'm going to go through all the phases of that launch, of you launching your book out there to the world. And then I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important things. How do you make money with your book? I'm going to cover, there's 12 things, and I'm going to cover 4 of them that are going to help you with how you can make 6 to 7 figures with any one. All right? Hope you love this. My name's Trevor Crane. I look forward to seeing you on the webinar, and I hope you enjoy the next video.